Hey guys, sorry about that. Hey guys, today we're gonna watch Dennis draw his life. Stupid ad. Okay, I just want to make a video, and it's not letting me make a video. Stop. Sorry, but and it's still loading. Just
my journey so far. So let's get into it. I was born on
so
June
good.
1996 in Canada, more specifically in Alberta, and even more specifically in the city of Edmonton. At the time, I was the youngest in the family, and before me was my brother, who is 2 years older than me.
Sorry about how
My mom
glitchy
and
it is,
dad both
guys.
immigrated from Ukraine, so they spoke both Russian and English to us. My parents didn't have much money, but we were getting by just fine. When I was about 3, we moved to Nashville, Tennessee. My mom was working, so my brother and I attended a preschool. This is where I had my very first
Really
memory.
nice.
All I remember is me drawing all over the chalkboard with a red marker, and the teacher got really mad at me. The memory immediately ends at that point, which technically makes that one moment the start of my whole life. When I was 4, my dad got a job as a math professor at the University of Manitoba in Winnipeg, which is back in Canada. We got a house there, and I started going to kindergarten. This is where my story truly begins. I made friends with this one kid who didn't talk, like, at all. Everyone thought there was something wrong with him, but one day we were playing in the sandbox and he started talking out of nowhere. After that, we became best friends.
You just laughed all
Right from the get-go, I was extremely creative. Throughout kindergarten and grade 1, I would draw dozens of comic books. My teachers were really impressed with them and even asked me to share them with the whole class. About once a week, I would have a new comic book made, and the entire class would come sit on the floor, and I would read out loud and show them every single page. There was even a little box in the class that had all my books for kids to come and read one whenever they'd like. Eventually, though, kids became too cool to read my comic books, so I stopped making them. My whole life, up until very recently, has just been me trying to fit in. I've always had an obsession with being cool and fitting in, and I would do things that weren't really me. Because of that, I became a pretty bad kid. I was constantly getting into trouble and given detention almost every week. When I was in 2nd grade, every day at lunchtime, there was a milk stand where kids would trade milk tickets that they bought from the school for little cartons of chocolate milk. Me, being crafty and pretty good at drawing, made fake milk tickets and would give them to my friends so they could go get free milk using these little pieces of paper that I drew on to make it look like one of the real tickets. It worked for a while until someone told on me and I got detention for weeks. Around this time was when my brother and I discovered computer games. My dad used this really old Windows desktop computer and he would let us play online mini games. For the most part, my brother would play and I would sit beside him and watch for hours. Some of my fondest memories are my brother and I sneaking up at like 4 in the morning just so we could go play more games together. I started developing a passion for video games, and pretty soon I was on the computer for hours a day. It was around this point where I realized that one day, I myself wanted to make video games. When I was about 10 years old, I lost pretty much all my friends from elementary school. There was no specific reason. They ended up becoming the popular kids, and I still had my best friend.
In the
We met a
short
couple
soon.
other kids that were a lot like us, and
You're probably
we all
not
stuck
going to
by
see
each
the
other.
whole video.
Throughout the next few years, I was really quiet and kept to myself, and so did my friends. When we hung out, we'd laugh and scream and make really weird noises, but when we were in public, we were pretty much the exact opposite. We were never really bullied or anything. We just kind of kept away from any sort of drama or tension. The only thing people did know me for, though, was my videos. And no, not my YouTube videos. I mean my video projects that we'd be assigned in class. If any teacher ever announced a video project would be coming up, kids would all be really excited to see what I put together. Some of my best memories from school were when kids would laugh and compliment me after watching my movies in class. Keep in mind, I was very quiet, so it was a pretty big deal for me to be getting this much attention. Then high school came. My parents insisted I went to a private school, which was really far away from the public school all my friends were going to. It really sucked at first, but it forced me to really step out of my comfort zone and meet new people. I didn't have...
What
Alexa,
was that?
put butterfly birthday on my calendar for August 23rd.
Sorry about this, guys. Oh wait, no, we can already skip it. Yay! Skippy.
Anyone. It was one of the first times in my whole life I truly felt on my own.
It's going
I had this
fast
idea
forward,
that
that's
since
why
nobody knew who I was, I could be whoever I wanted to be. It sounds like a bad thing when I say I wasn't truly myself, but really, it wasn't. I didn't have to be this quiet, introverted guy who always kept his head down anymore. I could finally build up the confidence to actually go and meet people. I know it's easier said than done. Stepping out of your comfort zone is one of the hardest things to do, but all you gotta do is take that first big step. You need to forget about everything else in the world, in the entire universe. Just flush out every negative thought and focus all of your energy only on that one thing. Whether it be meeting someone,
hey, I've done that
asking
before.
someone out, anything. You just gotta take that first leap of faith. And then the rest takes care of itself. On July 23rd, 2011, I made my first YouTube video. At this point in my life, I watch YouTube videos for hours every single day.
Yeah.
One day, I decided I wanted to be a YouTuber too, so I downloaded a screen recorder on my slow, crummy laptop and made my first Minecraft Let's Play. After the first week, it got about 20 views, but that didn't stop me. Over time, I started seeing the same people.
Yeah, me too. I'm gonna do
every
that.
time I made a new one, which meant I had
Just gonna
followers.
keep on making videos.
And this was enough to make me post a video every
Oh please. I've been trying so much for you guys to like my videos. And I figured out, so we're probably actually gonna do a bunch of videos on this.
Fletch, who I actually still work with today, but we'll get to that later. Around this time, I also met one of my best friends named Braden. Some of you may know him as Coral. Little side note, this is the same time I met Sam and Gent. So anyways, Braden and I both had small Let's Play channels
it's
and
Jet.
decided to be in a few of each other's
Just
videos.
so you know.
Pretty soon, we were talking and playing games together every day. After about a year, it seemed like I put my heart and soul into my channel, and it was simply going nowhere. I didn't know what to do, so I just kind of lost interest, so I stopped. This was also around the time my parents divorced. My mom moved into a condo across town, and my dad married my now stepmom, and her and my now stepbrother moved into my dad's house within a year, and the next thing I knew, I had a whole new family. At first, it was hard. This place that I knew inside and out and have lived in for over 10 years, all of a sudden, didn't really feel like home anymore. Don't get me wrong, I love my new family so much. It was just a lot to get used to. Constantly moving between my mom and dad's place, which were both across the city from each other, didn't really help. Since the dream of being a YouTuber was over, I focused my attention back towards making video games, and I took some programming classes in high school and actually got the highest mark in the class. I was still very creative, and around this time, was also really good at Adobe Photoshop, so the combination of all these things made being a game developer seem pretty promising. I applied to some universities, and the next thing I knew, I was one summer away from moving to British Columbia for school. Like most people, I was extremely nervous. I was 18 years old and was moving away from home for the first time in my life. I prepared myself by joining some of the university Facebook groups and tried to get an idea of some of the people I would probably
There's
meet.
another video that
While
goes on to the rest of
I found this one girl that
See, there's that
especially
one
stood
so
out.
bye.